This music always get me excited. All right. Welcome back to another week. I'm Otis,
And I'm Jerry.
and we are two guys catching up on football. I guess it is kind of a weekly roundup of things college and professional. And Jerry, we'll get started like we normally do with the college ranks. And so I pulled up the latest college rankings, and Alabama moved to the top.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Wow. So Ohio State must. What was
Ohio
Bama
State,
was at four, weren't they?
Ohio
Or were they
State,
at three?
Ohio State stayed third.
Interesting.
Alabama was
Oh,
at four,
yeah.
and so
Well,
you got Alabama, Texas, Ohio State, Tennessee, Georgia, Oregon, Penn State, Miami, Missouri, and Michigan are the top
yeah, I'm
10.
going to leave it that we do know there's some powers, the powers that be out there. There are many that would like to see Alabama. They're just perfectly fine with Alabama at number one.
Yeah, and you know what? Number 11 is USC, and number 12 is Ole Miss.
Yeah.
So because the best team in the what is it called, the Power Five, or no, I forget what they call it. It's that
You mean the top
extra.
four, or
No. It's like Boise State is considered with these guys group of five. The group of five. Um, it's a bunch of other conferences, and whoever is highest ranked gets a spot. So because
right?
of that, if Ole Miss were to stay 12, they would be left out. They would be
Right.
left
Oh,
out, and
really? So
then
they would get bumped out. Yeah.
yeah, they would get bumped out. So
Well, we
because
do. I will. USC, man, they can't stop the run.
no, and they right now Ohio State is the highest ranked Big Ten team.
Mm.
So because Texas moved to number two, if they were to start the playoff today, Alabama would get one of the one of the buys. Ohio State would get a bye. Um, Oregon is in the Big Ten. I think
Yes.
Oregon is in the Big Ten.
Yeah. And I take it they did win last night. I think they played UCLA. Yeah.
No, they won.
Okay, I would imagine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, they won. So Oregon wouldn't get one. So the next one, so it would be Alabama, Ohio State, Miami, because
Yeah. Who
that's the
stuck by? Yeah.
ACC. And so the next
The-
one would probably be Notre Dame, who's an independent. They might get one of the four
Yeah.
buys. That is
Now
possible.
I did see. So the first actual playoff poll is November 5th,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
believe.
So
Yeah.
then they'll have them listed, and
Yeah.
and they'll show you who's
And
in
I well,
in who's
if
out.
people right talking quarterbacks, I don't. What is Milrow now? A sophomore, junior?
Milroy is a junior, so he can
People
he
don't
can
hear a
come
lot of
out.
talk about him in the NFL, but to me, he wins. He does win games.
Yeah, he does, and so he probably will get to some team. I mean, he'll
True.
get to some quarterback needy
Yeah.
team and stuff. So he'll get to somebody. Um, Quinn Ewers.
Yeah.
I don't know how to pronounce his last name. I
It's
keep
either.
messing it
I
up.
think it's yours.
Ewers, that's it.
Yeah.
Quinn
Yeah.
Ewers went from being a Heisman hopeful to he's probably going to be on the bench now because Arch
Yeah. No
Manning played
kidding.
well, and he's
And
playing
Manning,
well.
we said can come out. Can he
No,
come out if no, not
no,
yet?
no.
Okay.
He's a sophomore. He's got to wait one more year, so he
Well,
can't
does
come out.
Ewers wait again? Ewers is a senior, I believe.
I don't know if he's a senior or a junior, but he can come out. Um, I don't think he will. I think he'll transfer if Manning continues to stay healthy and continues to ball out.
Right.
Ewers is going to have to look for
Yeah.
someplace else to play.
Yeah.
And the truth is, I think Sarkisian was just trying to figure out how to get Manning in there because
Probably.
he's probably the better quarterback,
Yeah.
and he just didn't know how to do it. And then when Ewers got hurt,
Yeah,
that was that.
and I did already cross my mind that looking ahead with Manning is potentially, we don't know what's going to happen, but maybe he's going to end up in New York, just like Eli.
Yeah, it's possible.
Yeah.
It's possible. So
Yeah.
we'll see. We'll
Yeah.
see how that goes. So all right, let's get to the NFL. We had some really decent games today.
Yeah, a couple crazy
Thursday,
ones
Thursday
again. Yeah.
night wasn't one of those. That was the Cowboys and Giants. So enough said about all that.
Yeah, that was
Um,
a bit of a snoozer. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And so then we have the Bengals won their first game today, but it was the Panthers. So, but Andy
Yeah.
Dalton is playing pretty good quarterback, but the Panthers defense is not very good.
But
And
so what are you going to do? Yeah.
Cincinnati is not as bad as the record
No,
indicates.
true. And you
Yeah.
do make me think. So, your draft pick that you took, Bryce Young, if you're the Panthers, now you're just going to let him sit?
Well,
What?
yeah, they're gonna get rid of him, and so
Probably eventually, yes.
yeah. I mean, there's nothing else they can do. They
Yeah.
they brought in a coach who they thought would help him, and the coach isn't. So
Right.
it's either get rid of him or get rid of the coach, and I think they're gonna keep the coach.
Yeah.
And then the Falcons beat the
Yeah, I saw
Saints. They
that.
came back
Yeah.
and beat them, and that
So,
was a
so we
that
so
was
we can slow down. I remember right, week 1, week 2, the Saints are marching in. Not really.
no,
Yeah.
they're kind of, but to the Saints' detriment, they have Dennis Allen as a coach. And
Yeah.
so I knew that was not going to last long. So,
Yeah,
that,
and,
that,
and like, lest we forget, Joe Woods is still there as the coordinator for their
yeah, so
defense.
it
So
is, yeah.
yeah, that's a
So
pretty bad combo.
we knew
Yeah,
that wasn't going to last. And
yeah.
then the Texans came back and beat the Jaguars, but the
Not
Jaguars are
surprised
horrible.
there. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
that
think
the Jaguars
what
are horrible.
Doug Peterson in Jacksonville, the seat is getting there's smoke coming out of the seat right now for him.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
going to
it
start
is.
getting hot. Yeah,
Yeah, he was supposed to turn it around. And
yeah.
then the Broncos and the Jets.
What?
Again, I like Robert Saleh. Not that crazy about Aaron Rodgers, so I'm kind of torn between. It's kind of like Texas and Sarkeesian. I like Steve
What?
Sarkeesian. I'm not a fan of Texas, so I'm
Yeah.
kind of torn.
If it's Broncos Jets, Otis, are you going for Aaron Rodgers or Sean Payton? And I think your answer would be neither. Don't care.
Yeah, give me another choice. I like Saleh. I'm going for
I do
Saleh.
like Salah. I seriously, I think I texted you. If the Jets keep losing, he's gone. Rodgers is
Oh
going to
yeah,
get him fired,
yeah,
and
yeah.
Rodgers will say, "Let me bring in my guy." Yeah,
He'll be
and
available
who
to be
knows
the
who that'll
defensive
be?
coordinator for the
Yeah,
49ers again. So he'll be available. And then we had the Vikings and the Packers, and yeah, Sam Darnold is the front runner for MVP,
yeah,
um,
they're playing real
or
well.
comeback player of the year, one or
I'm
the
gonna
other.
go right now. I think definitely comeback player of the year. He'd be a lock right now. Yeah,
Yeah. So, and they just managed to hang on. A 2-point conversion away from this game going into overtime, but Donald did make a mistake down the end. Towards the end that that
Right.
gave the Packers a chance to come back, and they almost pulled it out. And then we had the Steelers and the Colts. So
Well,
I the Steelers defense did not play well today. They
no.
did not play well today because the Steelers scored 24 points.
That's a
Um,
lot for them.
that's a lot for
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
And
Fields
the
was running really well. I saw a few run
yeah
plays where Fields did well.
yeah and
You
up
know, my
till to
thing with that one, Joe Flacco, if you pressure him, blitz him, and don't, he can't move. He's
right
going to remain in the pocket. But if you give Joe Flacco time, he's still deadly. He will beat you.
yeah yeah and the defense was only giving up like 8 points a game until today for the Steelers and
Yeah.
then
Oh, it's still
but
good. Yeah.
it's kind of like they say in boxing, styles make fights. And the guy that is way more talented than his opponent, but his opponent has just a style that does not fit him, the opponent usually won. And that's what this
Yeah.
one was.
Yeah.
And
True.
this was a styles
Yeah.
make fights.
True.
And now we come to the Bears are 2-2. And that is, I mean, that's great. I still think they only win 6 games this year, maybe
Oh,
5.
really? I'm gonna go. I'm not. Well, how am I gonna say? I'm not. I'm definitely not gonna put Caleb Williams on a podium or something. But I think that they might get up to maybe 8 and 9 by the end of the year, maybe something like that.
I know.
No.
Williams is still a rookie,
Yeah.
and they are still kind of winning with defense.
And they
And
still have Matt Eberflus as coach. Yeah.
that is the only thing that will
Yeah.
keep them from getting to 8 or 9
Yeah.
wins. And really,
Yeah,
he
go.
should
Yeah,
be.
go. Yeah,
Yeah,
Commanders. Cliff Kingsbury has done a magnificent job with Jaden Daniels.
yeah. Well, that's another game. But anyhow, um,
Yeah,
and the Buccaneers laid it on the Eagles, and so that's just kind of
yeah.
um,
That's a major bounce
you've
back.
already declared the Eagles a fraud, so we don't
Yeah,
really
I'm
need.
not gonna jump right. So they got Barkley. Uh, I don't see him doing much, and I think I'm gonna go on a limb here. When they don't make the playoffs, and Sirianni is fired, not many people are even going to care about that. I don't think Sirianni might be the most disliked coach, maybe second to Harbaugh, but Jim Harbaugh, but
I
he's up
think
there.
I think Sirianni's success was tied to Steichen and to
Yeah,
Gannon,
yeah,
who were his offensive and defensive coordinators.
right.
Steichen and Jalen Hurts were on the same page, and they
True.
knew what each other was
Yeah,
doing. And Gannon is a pretty good defensive coordinator.
yeah.
So his success in Philadelphia, I don't believe was his success. I think it had to do with the
He
other
he,
two
he was
guys.
kind of riding right. How? Just quick thought. What they won the Super Bowl 4 or 5 years ago? Not that long ago,
Well, yeah, it
right?
wasn't that long ago. It was when Peterson
Yeah.
was still there.
Yeah,
And
but so
and
Sirianni was kind of riding a little bit on the coattails of that, I think.
and
Yeah.
they had they had a lot of defensive players that got old and that retired.
Yeah, true.
And so
Yeah.
their
And
defense,
Kelsey as well, who was a good
yeah,
player, it's a good
and
center.
right, and Kelsey. And
Yeah.
so the guys that they drafted to replace the guys that retired are not playing as well as the guys who retired
Right.
and were playing. And so it's just maybe Gannon does a better job with the defensive replacements, but he's gone, so nothing
Right.
about that can be done. And then we had the 49ers and the Patriots, and that was a game that they should have won.
And they
And
did.
they
Yeah.
and they had Kittle back, and they had Debo back, and so um,
They were fired up. They needed that.
Shanahan had the guys he needed.
Yeah.
They still had too many field goals, but
Now I
um,
do. Yeah, they. I'm thinking on the other side, and I had mentioned to you, Jacoby Brissett, great guy,
oh yeah,
great backup. He's not a
right.
starter. At one
No,
point, the Patriots are going to probably play May here at some point.
yeah,
Once
because
they get
I think they're
a couple
one
more
and
losses.
three now. So
Yeah,
I'm thinking I don't know when their first bye is, but I'm thinking they'll go maybe fifth or sixth game or whenever the first bye is, and they got a week.
right.
And
Yeah, true.
I think that's when they'll
That
go.
sounds like a good plan. Yeah.
Yeah, and then we got the probably coach of the year, Dan Quinn, Commanders and Cardinals. Dan Quinn will probably be coach of the year.
Right
And,
now, I'm loving the Dan Quinn defense and Kingsbury running the offense. That's a
yeah,
pretty good combination. The best thing
yeah.
about the whole thing is that Dan Snyder's not anywhere near it. So
Yep,
we
that
like
is
that too. Yeah.
he can't get credit for it because he's
No.
nowhere near it. He can't
Yeah.
take credit for it because he
Yeah.
would be taking credit for it.
Oh,
You'd see,
absolutely. Yeah.
you'd see him everywhere.
Yeah.
So it's they are coaching and the defensive players for Washington really are not that good, but Dan Quinn is getting them into good
Yeah.
position.
No, I agree. He's making something happen with them. Yeah.
Right, yeah, and
Yeah.
then
He's doing
Kingsbury.
a Tomlin. He's making the best out of what he's got. Yeah.
Right. And
Yeah.
Kingsbury is a good offensive coordinator.
I, I
He's
am a
not a head
believer.
coach. I think when
Let's see.
all he has to do is pay attention to the offense,
Yeah.
and that's what he needs. Just let
I
me
saw
pay
some
attention to the
stat.
offense.
Daniels has 80% completion percentage, and I believe Washington. They had that stat last week about them not punting. I can't remember.
The
I think they
last
might have did it again. Yeah.
no, the last 2 weeks they didn't punt. They did punt today. So the punting team got some work today. I don't know if they punted more than once. They
Yeah.
scored 42 points, so I think they only punted one time.
Yeah.
But
Probably.
but the punter at least got some work today.
Well,
The
you got to get
last
it. Yeah.
two games he did not punt, and Daniels through the first 3 games was throwing at 80% completion rate, and last week he had 3 touchdowns and 2 incompletions. However, when I texted you today that he was 9 for 9, right after I texted that he threw his first pick.
Oh
Well,
well.
that one was my fault.
Well, he
He
got it
he,
out of the way.
he overshot, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so he did
That
that one.
I think right. We don't have any. I'd probably go on Daniels right now, Rookie of the Year.
Oh yeah, without a
Yeah.
doubt. If he continues along like this, whether they win or lose, if he continues to play like this, then yes, he is the
Yeah.
rookie of the year. And I know the Bears probably think that they should have drafted him. However, Eberflus would have still been your coach, and he still would have, and Daniels would have been bad. So as
Yeah, he
long as
probably would have ruined
Eberflus
him. Yeah.
as long as Eberflus is there,
Yeah.
Caleb Williams is not going to be good because you can see where Justin Fields is now and
Yeah.
where he was in
Yeah. True.
Chicago,
Better. Yeah. Well,
that's a big difference.
yeah. What I loved. I didn't watch any of the Commanders today, but I did last Monday. Kingsbury has a rookie quarterback, Daniels. He's calling a great mix of plays, and the play calling for a rookie is perfect. I think Eberflus is saying, "Oh, okay, Caleb, you're the #1 pick. Go win it for us. Go do something." No,
Probably,
yeah,
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 probably so. All right, and here comes the team that just hates to lose, Chiefs and Chargers.
yeah.
And so they just do. They
That's
really find
You
a
know,
way.
I'm going. We've talked about this, but with Mahomes, I am also. I got to tip our hat to Andy Reid. because Reed gets it done as well.
He does. He
Yeah.
does. But now, again, I'm going to play devil's advocate. Would they be that good without Mahomes? I mean,
No.
Andy
Yeah.
Reid won with Alex Smith,
Yeah.
but Alex Smith only got him so far. He
Yeah.
just Alex Smith did not have the arm talent or the
No.
talent period that Mahomes has, and
Yeah,
that
I
makes
agree. I mean, but I will say, I think if you gave, I can't think of a, let's say, I'm going to throw out Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones is on the Chiefs. I would imagine the Chiefs would finish around 500 with Daniel Jones. They might not make the playoffs, but Reed was going to make him a little better, and they're going to win.
okay.
They're going to win, but not like they do with Mahomes, of course.
Now you know that Reed is not one of the gods from Mount Olympus. So I mean, okay, he's really good. However, um, Daniel Jones is really, really bad.
Yeah,
I, I
I'm just
don't.
maybe I'm a well, Reed and Spagnuolo. Uh, that's another one. It's a good combination. I do think we'll never know, but hypothetically, I think you could put a decent quarterback with him, and they would finish 500 probably at least.
Daniel Jones is not a decent quarterback.
Oh, you say that.
He's not a. That's not. He's not a decent quarterback. He misses guys wide open on a check down. That's not a decent quarterback. He's a great running quarterback, but the NFL does not run the single wing. So
True.
he's kind of useless in an NFL. He's kind of useless in an NFL uniform. So and now we went from the team that just hates to lose to the team that just kind of hates to win. Your guys,
Yeah.
the Browns,
Oh yeah, we got to miss the Browns. You got to miss the extra point, which ended up being crucial. But my thing, I'm starting to become. I changed my gears today. I cannot say fire Stefanski. He's a two-time Coach of the Year, I think, in 4 years, which is pretty incredible. But I can say, let's bring back Bill Belichick to Cleveland and let him finish his career there. So that's the my new wagon that I'm hitching on is let's get Belichick in there. Here's my thing: the Browns have too many penalties. They look lackadaisical. The play calling is atrocious. Jim Schwartz's defense is nothing like last year. I don't think he's changed anything. They need to. They really do need to. They need to do something different. This year is that they have fallen back to being the same old Browns, and that means you blow it up and start over. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's too bad. But Njoku didn't play today,
Yeah.
and the Browns receivers really are not separating from the defense.
No, they're not. And the old line
Um,
is, I think I texted you, you may as well just put 5 traffic cones for the old line because
Yeah.
they don't do much. It's pretty bad. But, I am, Watson's okay. But people keep saying Watson's not the fault. He is part of the problem, I think. At
He's
least
part
you
of it,
can't.
but he's
Yeah,
not
he's
all
part
of
of
it.
it.
Because
Yeah, he's not all, but he is part of it. I'll be
I mean,
honest. Yeah,
I mean, you got
I
to look
can't.
at the entire team as being part of it. You can't just say
Yeah.
him. You got to
Watson's
look at
got
you got to
two,
look
two
at the
more
entire
two more
team.
years left on his deal. Can't finish that deal fast enough and move on. The
Yeah.
whole thing with him has been a nightmare. It needs to end. Just stop
Yeah,
it.
but
Yeah.
but he's not the only reason. He is
No, he's
one.
not.
He is one of 53
Yeah,
reasons.
yeah.
But you got the other 252 guys that have a
Oh,
lot
it's
to
true.
do with that too.
Yeah, no,
So,
that's my thing, and I really am. I think I noticed today and last week is they don't. There's something missing from last year to this year.
Well, it's
There's no,
coaching.
yeah, there's no fire. The team has no
And that's
energy.
that
It's
comes
coaching.
down to
I
coaching.
totally agree.
Yeah.
The team looks, as I describe it, they're unwatchable. It's boring.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
there's nobody
But
to root for. I'm not going to root for Watson. I'm not a huge fan. I like Miles. I like Nick Chubb, who's not playing. But there's nothing. They're missing a lot of things right now.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I'm going to hold out to say that things will get better for them as the year goes along. And so they probably won't make the
Wow.
playoffs. But I'm going to say that they will start to play better. They get Njoku back. They get Chubb back. They get a lot of the weapon. They get players back that could help Watson be able to perform better.
Maybe.
So I mean,
True. That's true.
before he went down last year, he was 5-2 or something like that. Before he went down, the Browns were 5-2.
So
So
Watson. Yeah. True.
yeah, so he was.
You know, I did see. I can't think of. They have. It was either Jerome Ford or Deontay Foreman had a run today, and the runner goes straight, cuts to the right for a second, and then went left. Well, when he cut to the right, there was this huge gap, and I thought, oh, Chubb would have kept going that direction, and this runner probably said, "Oh, the play's supposed to go to the left," so guy went left and went nowhere. So
Yeah,
I don't know.
it's possible. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
but
all
unwatchable.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna move on from them. So tonight we got the Bills and Ravens. It should be a good game.
Yeah.
I,
Nah.
I,
Go
I,
ahead.
I think the Bills will probably win.
Well,
They
now
have they have a better
you're
team.
well. Now the game's in Baltimore, right?
Yeah, but I don't
I
think
do
that'll
think
matter.
the Buffalo's got a better offense. I'm not going to jump on the conspiracy wagon yet, but yeah, Josh Allen is playing well, and they might be pumping him up. So I'm going to go with the Bills tonight because that just makes Josh Allen look even better on national
Well,
television.
and then one thing, through the first 3 games, he's been spreading the ball around. So he doesn't have a diva wide receiver saying, "Get me
No,
the
yeah.
ball."
Did you
And
hear his
so-
comments last week? He literally said that. I don't have guys crying for the ball. Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
And so everybody wants everybody to do well, and that's the way it should be.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
not the way it is, but that's the way it should be. And then tomorrow night, we got the Titans Dolphins, and that's probably not going to be very good.
No, that's not a very good, interesting game.
Yeah, and Taylor is going to start for the
Yeah.
Dolphins.
But we do have also the other one is good. It's
On Seahawks and Lions.
yeah, that's well. He's a top 5 MVP candidate right now, Geno Smith, and so they play the Lions, right? Yeah. So
Right, but this is the first game that the
Yeah.
Seahawks have played a good team. The first 3 they were
so
not
we'll
good
see.
teams.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
We'll
so
see what happens.
We'll see how that goes.
I would think
So,
Lions win that. Yeah.
yeah, I'm going with the Lions on that one. My brother Michael will be happy to hear that.
That's
And,
true. We both called the Lions on that one.
Yeah, yeah. So anyway, so that is our show for today. Wait a minute, I got to get our traveling music. And Jerry, it's always good to talk to you, buddy.
Yeah, same with you, bud.
All right, hang on a second.
Already week 4.
Yeah, we're already in week 4. So thank you everybody for joining us here. I'm Otis,
And I'm Jerry.
and this is Two Guys Catching Up on Football. Ciao!